Welcome back to consecutive day 1178 of the Diary of a Runpreneur. In today's episode, I want to talk to you about gap pace or grade adjusted pace for extreme heat running. So remember to give this a subscribe, share, like and comment, as the more people we get in front of, the more money we raise on my fundraising mission to save the lives of children by attempting the ultimate ultramarathon. All the information about the challenge, how you can get involved, is in the link in the comments below. Thank you as always, and let's get started. So, consecutive day 1178 for Diary of a Runpreneur. And today's episode, I want to talk to you about grade adjusted pace, or GAP as it's commonly known as a running acronym, for when you're running in extreme heat conditions. So I'm running here in Northern Cyprus, and the temperatures have been every day high 30 degrees. Feels like temperature has been mid to high 40s, 40 degrees Celsius that is, which is extremely hot. I haven't run in conditions like this before. This is definitely the hottest I've run in to date. And so the reason for the topic is when people run in extreme conditions, they often don't factor in an adjustment in their pace or effort to obviously make sure that they stay fit and healthy, because running in extreme conditions can cause injury, it can cause illness, it can cause lots of problems for a runner. So it's important you understand this. Now, gap pace or grade adjusted pace was originally created as an algorithm to counteract the impact of elevation within running and mixed terrain. So the idea being that if you're running up a hill, you'd be running significantly slower, but the effort could be the same as running significantly faster on the flat. So the grade adjusted pace would allow somebody to see your effort levels in running up that hill in terms of what you'd be running at pace-wise on a flat, concrete or road-based terrain. So, for example, I could be running up a hill and be running at, 6-minute kilometre pace, but the actual effort based on my heart rate, exertion, all these types of conditions, fitness, all that side of things, could be the equivalent of running at 5 kilometres, 5-minute kilometre pace, if I was running on the flat. So it allows people to kind of compare runs if somebody's running on an incredibly hilly terrain as opposed to somebody who's running very flat. Now, it isn't traditionally used to counteract running extreme heat, but I can tell you now, these are pretty flat runs. But if I'm running at home in nice, cooler running conditions, I can tell you now my heart rate is working much slower at the same pace as when I'm running over here in these extreme conditions. And what you should factor in, bearing in mind you might have to do the conversions here because I run in metric, so I run minute per kilometre pace is the metric that I'll use. Some people run minute per mile or miles per minute metric, which is obviously a different level. Has an easy starting point. A 5-minute kilometre is an 8-minute mile pace. Okay, so there's a nice easy way to start you off. But when you're factoring in heat, generally speaking, you want to start at 15 degrees, which is fairly optimum running temperature. You could probably say lower, but for every 3 degrees, this is in centigrade again, so you have to convert to Fahrenheit if you operate in Fahrenheit. But 15 degrees centigrade, every 3 degrees higher than 15 degrees centigrade, you want to allow 10 to 20 seconds extra per minute per kilometre. Okay, now if you're a more seasoned runner, used to running in hotter conditions, you'd use the 10 second per kilometre adjustment. If you're very new to running in hotter climates, you'd use the 20 seconds per kilometre adjustment. So let's use an example. So the temperature at the moment is 33 degrees centigrade. Let's ignore the feels like. You should predominantly be using the feels like. It does feel like hotter than 33 degrees. It's probably close to 40 degrees. But we'll use 33 degrees as an easy example. So 33 degrees centigrade above 15 degrees centigrade is 18 degrees. So remember we said, because I'm an experienced runner in heat, I'm going to adjust for 10 seconds per per minute per kilometre as an adjustment per 3 degrees in increase of temperature over and above 15 degrees centigrade. So that's 18 degrees centigrade uplift divided by 3 is 6. So that's 6 lots of 10%, 6 lots of 10 seconds per minute kilometre pace, per kilometre per minute per kilometre pace that I would adjust by. So obviously 6 lots of 10 seconds is 1 minute. So it's pretty easy that I can look at my watch. Today's run, I've been at 5 minutes and 45 minutes per kilometre pace. So grade adjusted, I'm actually putting in the same effort as if I was running at home at 15 degrees or lower on the flat at 4 minutes 45 seconds a kilometre, which feels about right. I'm sweating bucket loads here. I would only be sweating similarly if I was pushing myself at a much faster pace, something along the lines of 4 minutes and 45 seconds per kilometre if it was 15 degrees at home on the flat. So there you go. Learnings for my diary for today is, if you're running in extreme heat conditions, remember these rules. So use grade adjusted pace for heat. So how you're going to do that is you're going to allow for every 3 degrees centigrade above 15 degrees centigrade, you're going to allow 10 to 20 seconds per kilometre per 3 degrees. So as the example I've used, if it's 30 degree or 33 degrees centigrade temperature where I am now, it's the equivalent of the grade adjusted pace, as it's 6 lots of 3 degrees above 15 degrees, so it's 18 degrees higher than 15 degrees, divided by 3 degrees allows me, that's 6 lots of 10 seconds, so 6 times 10 seconds is 60 seconds, which is 1 minute. So I know that whatever I'm running at now, reduce that by a minute per kilometre, and I can see what the grade adjusted pace would be for running in these conditions. So hope that's useful. Any questions or comments, drop me a line, I'll respond to everyone. Remember to give this a subscribe, share, like and comment, as the more people we get in front of, the more money we raise on my fundraising mission to save the lives of children by attempting the ultimate ultramarathon. All the information about the challenge, how you can get involved, is in the link in the comments below. Thank you as always, stay positive, stay happy, and I'll see you again tomorrow.